Good evening, everyone. I call this June 11th, 2024 hybrid administrative meeting of the Board of County Commissioners to order. Commissioner Quesada is appearing via Zoom and Commissioner Benson is excused. We will have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Representative Damon Eli. Join me in the moment of silence, please. Thank you. Please stand. Representative Eli.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Madam County Manager, are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and Commissioners. We have no additions or no changes. Thank you.
Commissioners, any changes? We will need a roll call vote.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry. Commissioner Olivas.
I don't know if this is the appropriate time. Could I pull an item off of consent? Just finding the item number
Yes.
here real quick. It is item L. Eight L. Technical Services Carnwell Emerging Contaminant Study.
Okay. We'll pull item 8L off of consent and place it, where will we place that, Julianne, at the end?
Madam Chair, if we can place that under approvals, it'll become 10C.
10C. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, just for the record, pulling off a consent item does not require a vote.
Okay. Thank you. But we do need a roll call vote for the agenda as amended. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a couple of statements. I offer the following statement regarding the closed personnel meeting held Wednesday, June 5th, 2024 at 9 a.m. Only those items described on the published notice and agenda for the closed meeting held on June 5th, 2024 were discussed at that closed meeting. I need a motion for approval of this statement and it will become part of the minutes for this meeting.
I make a motion to approve.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. My second statement, I offer the following statement regarding the closed meeting held today, Tuesday, June 11th, 2024 at 1:30 p.m. Only those items described on the published notice and agenda for the closed meeting held today, June 11th, were discussed at that closed meeting. I need a motion for approval of this statement and will become part of the minutes of this meeting.
Motion to approve the statement.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Sorry, Madam Chair, who was the second?
I did.
Okay, great. Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes.
Thank you.
And finally, I move that the Bernalillo County Attorney be authorized to proceed with the matters discussed in the closed meeting held on Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, within the parameters set by this commission to include matters related to item 3, Palindrome Communities LLC. I need a motion for approval.
Motion to approve the statement.
And I second. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes,
Thank you.
that passes. Thank you. Move on to item 4, Count on Us Minute. County Manager Morgus Baca.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and Commissioners. So as everybody knows, everything, there's change, times change. And so the way that law enforcement responds to calls is a little different now. So things have evolved over the years and we've learned a lot on how to respond to someone experience a behavioral health crisis. And we have to be really, really sensitive to that. And I can tell you our Sheriff's Department is very sensitive to that. So the focus of today's Count on Us Minute is the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office Mobile Crisis Team, which is a wonderful, wonderful resource in our community. So BCSO's dedicated team members respond to behavioral health emergencies in the field with care, compassion, kindness, and resources at times when people need them the most. So as county manager, I just want to say this, I think this will be my last Count on Us minute, but I hope that this, we keep doing this. It's really important to just kind of focus on the positivity and all the great things that our great staff, our county commissioners, and our elected officials do. So thank you very much.
We just got a call at Matthew Meadows Park. Looks like to express Dan. SI, are you available to take the call? 10-4, we can be in route.
The mobile crisis team responds to consumers that are in acute mental health crisis. A typical day for me starts about 7:30 a.m. I try to catch up with a lot of administrative duties, which come from the field for individuals that my detectives in the mobile crisis team may have not been out with.
The mobile crisis team responds to behavioral health emergencies in the community via emergency dispatch through the 911 channel, or a deputy who's on scene with an individual that is appearing to be in crisis.
How are you, sir?
Hi, good. What's going on today?
There's a gentleman over here sitting on the park bench.
We bring to them the resources and the care and understanding, and we try to triage any issues that they have, and if they need a higher level of care. The mobile crisis team builds trust within the community by responding and co-responding with an independently licensed clinician. We come in with a softer approach that builds relationships.
With you that night, can you put to your side, please? Thank you so much. What's your name? Dale. Dale, I'm Detective Opdaka with the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. What seems to be going on today?
That's just the beginning, and that's the wonderful thing about Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office and the Behavioral Health Unit. I'm not saying we're a one-stop shop, but what the clinicians and detectives on the MCT teams do is they're just starting the process.
Mobile crisis really fills a gap in the sense of us being able to meet a person in the community where they're at in that moment of crisis and get them connected to the support that they need.
What helps me is that I like to be that kind of order in the chaos that this person is being subjected to help guide them in finding additional resources.
To bring care and compassion from a law enforcement perspective to the community. This is essential to our society, to our community, to our agency.
We'd like to try and see if we can maybe find a different solution for you today.
And it's an absolute honor to supervise them because this is all of their true life's passion. This is what they wanted to do. This is what they get a great opportunity to do, and that is to serve the county of Bernalillo.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Thank you so much. We will move on to item 5, public comment and communications. Before communications, public comment, each person has 2 minutes. You will be alerted about your remaining time. When your name is called, please make your way to the podium if you are speaking in person. Before making your statements, please state your name for the record to maintain order and decorum and in the spirit of professionalism and respect for everyone. Speakers, we ask you to adhere to your 2-minute time frame. Julianne, do we have speakers?
Yes, Madam Chair, we have 5 speakers this evening, and we will start off with Mr. Don Schrader, followed by Victoria Goodlay, followed by Dr. Gerardo Cionello,
Don Schrader. I strongly recommend this book, Wheat Belly, by heart specialist William Davis, MD. When he and his thousands of patients stopped eating all wheat, they got rid of their big bellies. Modern wheat was genetically engineered. Modern wheat is not the same as wheat hundreds of years ago. Eating 2 slices of whole wheat bread can increase blood sugar more than 2 tablespoons of sugar or a candy bar. Modern wheat can cause or worsen heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, cancer, skin rashes, autism. Modern wheat can cause or worsen aching joints, neuropathy, schizophrenia, cataracts, acne, kidney disease, men not able to get erections. Modern wheat is horribly addicting. Some people addicted to wheat go through withdrawal for weeks or months when they stop eating wheat. Eat no wheat. Bread, pizza, fry bread, pie, cake, cookies, macaroni, noodles, pretzels, etc. Look at photos of people over 100 years ago. Few persons were fat. I wish I had known this years ago when my dear mother ballooned to 270 pounds in her 50s. She suffered hell. She died of kidney disease. I eat no junk food. I eat no sugar crap. I eat no wheat.
Thank you, Mr. Schrader.
Victoria Goodlay, followed by Dr. Gerardo Sionello, followed by Victoria Schonard.
Welcome.
Good evening, Victoria Goodlay. I'm here to voice my concerns about the behavioral health ordinance. I was reluctant to be here today out of fear of retaliation. However, I'm here to speak on behalf of my coworkers, some of whom are here today. It's disappointing and unacceptable that the behavioral health ordinance was completely rewritten without input from staff. That relays the message that staff have no value. My colleagues and I have been blessed enough to help several individuals navigate the challenges of recovery. However, the focus remains on what we don't do and what we should change. This message has been consistent. I expected more from the highest leadership in the county. The focus remains on who we turn away instead of considering why. Where staff are assaulted and we're threatened daily. However, we continue to show up because we care about the demographic we serve. The no wrong door model, opening our doors to everyone in crisis or under the influence, will put every staff member at risk and create a liability for Bernalillo County. Another concern in the ordinance is a reference to taking in clients who are involuntary. The changes in this ordinance were made with reckless disregard for staff safety and public safety. Our current model is effective. The challenge in our community is addiction. Duplicating services in crisis intervention will only take away from recovery services where there's already a deficit. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Corone.
Well, good evening, Madam Chair and County Commissioners. I waited 9 years legally to become a naturalized U.S. citizen. According to U.S. government data, some 8 million people have illegally entered the U.S. from 2021 to 2024, plus another 2 million which are the gotaways, the ones seen by border agents but never apprehended, and the ones who enter the country through other ways. That's 10 million illegals in 3 years since Biden was inaugurated president. And they'll keep coming if we continue our current policies. But the overwhelming majority are coming for a much more obvious reason: to work and make money in the world's richest country. And not just from Mexico or Central America, but from China, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, Somalia, Cuba, and Venezuela. And many of them are coming for the wrong reasons. They are fighting males ages 18 to 30, ready to destroy our U.S. economy, infrastructures, and commit crimes, sex slavery, human drug trafficking, etc. Illegal immigration has been a major issue in the U.S. It's one of the reasons Trump was elected in 2016. He promised to stop it and made significant progress. Extended the border wall in which we're hampered by liberal judges and Democratic Congress. He instituted the Remain in Mexico policy, which forced migrants to wait for asylum to change and fully empower border and immigration agents to detain, deport, and export illegal immigrants back across the border. But when the new Biden administration took over in 2021, border agents became like Walmart greeters, deportation officers who were chained to their desks. Most anyone who showed up was granted entry. And once they achieved the goal, then what? They have to be housed, fed, and cared for, especially when sick. And I haven't mentioned the billions of dollars all this costs us, the American taxpayers. Can we stop this historic flood? Yes, by reversing the risk-reward calculus. We did it from 2017 to 2021. The real question is do we want to do it? That's up to you and we the people. May God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Victoria Schonard, followed by Rosa Baez.
Good evening, Victoria Gudela, reading this on behalf of Victoria Schonard. Thank you for allowing me to be heard. I have just a few concerns and some questions I need answered. I would like to address the no wrong door approach. Can you clarify what that means? Also would like to address the safe places to go, specifically the crisis triage center, including those 44 dropped off by law enforcement. My concern is with the involuntary and dropped off by law enforcement. If someone is involuntarily dropped off by law enforcement, how is that a safe place if they could potentially be held against their will? And does the no wrong door approach still hold true if they can't leave? If someone does not want to be at Care Campus, could they possibly be a safety risk for staff and clients? I have a medical background and am concerned for the safety of all if someone is restricted from leaving. If we could get more information on what this is going to look like, I would really appreciate it. Yours in service, Victoria Schonard. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gulula. You want to make a comment? Commissioner Barboa has a quick comment.
Yeah, just quickly, I wanted to say I would love to meet with and anywhere where you all want to meet, if it's at where you work or in a public space. But I'd love to talk more about the audience and welcome, actual changes to the ordinance. But just to clear up for sure that there is not, we're not allowed, and we couldn't even make that rule to involuntary hold people. That's not part of this ordinance. Just so that's clear. But I would definitely love to work and get your expertise involved in the movement. And your staff we sent it to the staff, asking them to share it with all the staff. So I would still love to do that.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Hi.
I'm Rosa Baez. First, I would like to state that I am in fear of retaliation as well for just stating my opinion on this matter today. I've worked very hard to get where I am at today. I'm emotional, so I'm sorry. I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict, which is a prerequisite for obtaining the CPSW credential. I have been sober for almost 9 years. The changes being proposed in this BH ordinance are not the best in the best interest of the community. To make mental health the #1 concern in the current state that Albuquerque and New Mexico as a whole are in is reckless. Addiction must be addressed before one can even properly be evaluated or consent to mental health treatment. Otherwise, this will continue to be an endless cycle of insanity. For example, in my case, I do not suffer from any mental health diagnosis before I was drinking, but I did face many mental health challenges while I was in the middle of my addiction. Once I was able to do the work on myself and become sober, no more mental health addiction. So it's very important that we treat those things first, and removing Care Campus or any of our services that we offer from the community is absolutely, again, reckless. I've lost my place. Furthermore, the fact that we as staff have not even been acknowledged or our opinions asked for by the new DCM demonstrates there is not any concern for our safety or opinions in the job changes that are to be implemented. We face many challenges with the demographic we work for as it is now, and just being willing to put us in more danger that's not okay. The no wrong door policy, also, I mean, how do we protect ourselves from that if people are being dropped off and there's no wrong door? It just doesn't make sense at all. The BH ordinance will only end with Care Campus unionizing and probably losing a lot of qualified quality staff that is already hard to find.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Madam Chair, that concludes public comment.
Okay, Commissioner Olivas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to be clear about two things. The proposed behavioral health ordinance does not remove, dissolve, do anything with CARES Campus in a way that would end the services there as they currently are. And I believe that we've stated from the very beginning, our intention here is good to great. This is about building on the successes, on building on the quality work of our staff currently at the Department of Behavioral Health Services and in the BHI. It's about building on those initiatives and those departments, making them even stronger, growing those programs, growing those beds, and most importantly, growing the coordination. And the last thing I wanted to say just on the no wrong door approach, I think perhaps there's a little bit of misconception as to what that means. It does not mean that any door you walk in, that's where you stay. If someone is violent, if someone needs immediate emergency medical treatment, if someone needs medical model detox versus social model detox, no wrong door means getting them to the right door. It does not mean that whatever door you go in, that's where you'll stay, regardless of condition, regardless of needs. That is not what it means. And so to be very clear, this is about making sure that if someone walks into the wrong door, so to speak, they're led to the right door and not turned away, not turned back into the community when they were actively seeking help, when they're actively looking for services. It's about making sure we connect them with the right service at the right time, right place, et cetera. So I really do appreciate all of you being here, appreciate the comments on this, and we are committed to working together on this. We've had great working sessions, listening sessions with staff present, with community members, with stakeholders, including providers. So, you know, the door remains open, and we are committed to continuing to work on this until we can work through this. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We move on to presentation by Representative Damon Eli regarding his homelessness report. Representative, welcome.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, thank you for having me. Let me start with just a little bit of background. I was a state representative, as many of you know. I actually was a county commissioner about 400 years ago, but in Sandoval County. We didn't have the nice digs that you guys have, I just want to say. So when I was in the legislature, I received a report that you and the city had commissioned a gap assessment. And the top line of that report was that the county and city did not have an overall plan to address homelessness. So when I left the legislature, I did volunteer to try to set up an outline of a plan, but I was going to do it in a different way. I didn't do it by committee. I went out and talked to homeless advocates, providers, experts, people from all over the country, elected officials, anybody that I could get my hands on. What you have in front of you, this 70-page report, is the, believe it or not, 56th draft, but that's what it is. It's a draft. It's not a Bible. And I will very quickly summarize to you that report, and then I'm going to tell you why this is such good timing for this presentation. So the report basically concludes that we need to have short, medium, and long-term goals all operating at the same time. The short-term goal is to get people off the streets. They're dying out there, at least according to the advocates, and City Desk actually did a deep dive on this. Every 4 days, a homeless person dies in Albuquerque, on average. Nationally, the homeless have a 30-year less life expectancy than you or I. They are dying as a result of exposure, trauma, drugs, other elements being on the streets. We need to get them off the streets. So that's the longest part of the report. because that's the most immediate need. But at the same time, we need to start getting everyone on the same page. We need to know who the homeless are. We can do that consistent with HIPAA. But we also need to know, what are the providers doing? What goals do they have? How are we measuring those goals? Are they effective? What is their capacity? So when ACS goes out in the middle of the night and they see a homeless person who may be schizophrenic, who's getting off fentanyl, they know that person and they know where to send them that night. And I have to tell you, and this is going to be a constant theme of mine, is that the county and city, I think, are doing a good job. They're starting to get together. They're like on the opioid, you both have the same opioid ordinance. I applaud you for that. The idea being, I want you to work together. But the big problem, of course, is the end is housing. We need to have housing with supportive services. That's the long-term goal. This took us many years to get into. Albuquerque has an affordable housing crisis, like a lot of communities do. It's going to take us several years to get out. But I will tell you what the problem is from my point of view, and that is, this is not a local problem. This is a statewide problem that is focused in Bernalillo County. 35% of the homeless are from outside of the county, but within the state. We need the state to be a partner in addressing this issue. And so we have a governor that has very strong opinions, and she has a special session coming up on July the 18th. And what I am trying to do and encouraging you to do is say to the governor, expand the agenda of the special session to include allowing the members to have capital outlay go into at least improving the WEC. The city's now put $4.5 million into it. It's never going to be a great facility, but we got 400 to 700 people out there. You've got to make it a place that's secure. People will be comfortable going out there. We should be buying Desert Hills. It's a good facility on Sequoia and Coors. It had a horrible reputation, but the facility itself is a good facility. We could move elderly that are in the WEC out of there. 200 or 300 people we could get into Desert Hills. We need to start thinking about housing. This is where the state could really step up to the plate. The city budget on housing is flat. We need probably close to $20 million from the state to be able to multiply that with federal funds to get 500 units in the work right now. Only the state has that kind of money. We need motels. And by the way, both the county and city are doing an excellent job on that. We need motels. We also need pallet homes, office buildings, vacant space. So when the vice chair of the budget committee on the House side asked me, how much money are we talking about? I said, to start, $50 million, but they're not operational dollars. They're capital dollars. So they're one-time expenses. However, we're going to be going back to the legislature, and I'm looking at the former speaker, we're going to be going back to the legislature year after year to ask for more money until we get this problem managed. I do think Albuquerque's in a place, and Bernalillo County, where we have, if we had strong leadership on this issue, particularly from the state, other states are doing that. When the state gets involved, they are starting to manage this problem. We could lead the nation. We really could. And it will not only save lives, it'll save communities. And frankly, it'll be a great thing for New Mexico. It's the right thing to do. And so I'm asking you to spread the word. See if you, whatever contacts you have with the governor, please plead with her to expand this agenda to include capital outlay. With that, Madam Chair, I'll stand for questions. I hope I stuck to my 5 minutes. I'm a lawyer and a politician. I'm not used to speaking for 5 minutes. It's a good thing to do. It's good training.
It's not an issue that can be encapsulated that short of time. So any questions for Representative Commissioner Barbour?
Thank you, Representative Eli. I appreciate your work here. I know you did this voluntarily, and thank you for early on sharing your first draft and now on draft 52 or whatever. I'm just really appreciative of you gathering the landscape. I would agree, as someone who's been digging around on this for the last 3.5 years, that I agree with all of the approaches. The one thing I would ask for your continued help with well, one, also let's link up arms and go talk to our state legislature and our governor about this. I think you might have some good influence there. But we keep running into the pieces. I need to fully understand how the Affordable Housing Act works, because I get multiple stories. I have some meetings coming up this week, but I think with our legal expertise and your legal expertise, we may be able to get beyond that, because that's some of the stuff that we continue to keep running up against. And we now have, and have heard from like Peter Kubra, and I know Dr. Lindstrom knows some of how we can actually use Medicaid dollars to pay for housing. So as we get to these opportunities, I just keep seeing the same sort of anti-donation clause, even though we have the Affordable Housing Act. So that's one of the things I don't see mentioned totally in your report, and I would love help with as we continue to try to piece this together.
Madam Chair and Commissioner, two things. One, you made an excellent hire in Dr. Lindstrom. I knew him when he worked for the state. Another resource is Joseph Montoya, who is the housing person of the city. Joseph's wonderful. He doesn't always talk English. He talks housing. So when you get past that, but he really knows what he's doing. So does Dr. Lindstrom. They're both excellent. And of course, I'd be happy to work with you on that. And I think you're right. There always in this report, there's going to be need for improvement. And by the way, I was just telling Mr. Vigil that I stayed away from behavioral health. You will not see that in the report because I knew this was going to be handled separately. So I just want you to know that is a big gap. And the other gap is going to be prevention. We need to do more to keep people in the units they're in, homes, apartments, those kind of things.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Olivas?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Representative Eli, for coming in and presenting this, publicly. We've been talking about this informally. I don't know, going back almost a year now, probably, when we first started talking about this. I know you've really put the legwork into this, and it shows. This is really comprehensive, really thorough. But as you stated, you've also stuck to a narrow pathway that's about housing and homelessness. We know there's all kinds of intersections with behavioral health, with criminal justice, and that's important too. But I just want to say that I absolutely appreciate your work here, and I think we've got to do a lot better as a region coordinating. I just can't say that enough. I think we're doing better. There's a number of initiatives that I think demonstrate seriousness and a real commitment to that. But I continue to see, specifically on the issue of housing, that we have this disconnect. We've last year, I think there was something like 20 capital outlay requests for different housing initiatives across the metro area. This includes, government requests, nonprofit requests. There's just far too much chaos there, frankly. And I'm not saying that it's not well-meaning. I think every one of those entities wants to do right. They want to make their projects whole. They want to get units built. But in the end, if everybody's getting a very small percentage of what they actually need, which we know is what happens in our current capital outlay system, then nobody gets anything, right? Then nothing ever gets built. It takes 20 years to get the money together, and by that time, the project cost has doubled. So I think we've got to get our hands around the capital outlay problem. Some of that's at the state level, but there's some of that at the local level too, where we've just got to do a better job of coordinating. And our local Middle Rio Grande Housing Collaborative is an effort at that. Slow to take off, as many of these things are, but the idea is to really get that priority list going and actually work it, and hopefully get buy-in from all the entities to say, look, people got to wait their turn. Projects are going to have to come around as they come up, but we cannot continue the shotgun approach of everybody requesting money every year for everything, and nothing ever happens. And I think that's part of the frustration for legislators, for the governor. When you talk to folks like that, they're asking, well, how much money does it need to build this 30-unit complex? Oh, $50 million. Okay, well, you're not going to get that in capital outlays, so how are you going to pay for it? How is this ever going to happen? My money's better spent buying police cars that I know will get purchased this year and hit the streets. Housing, we've just got to figure out the coordination piece, and I totally see that you're committed to that. I'm committed to that, and we've got to do a better job of figuring out how we get that coordination to actually build units.
Madam Chair, if it's all right, I'd like to respond to
Yes,
the Commissioner.
please.
One thing you need to know is capital outlay money is there. We're talking about $5 billion sitting on the sidelines right now. So the idea of spending 1% on that, which is literally the request I'm making, to address what I think is the public health crisis in New Mexico is more than worth its dollars. I will tell you that both as a legislator and a commissioner, I can count more failures than I can successes. And trying to change the capital outlay approach at both the county and the legislature, I failed on. So I appreciate those comments.
Yeah, it's a tough nut to crack. I have one comment. The last session, 250 million was earmarked for housing to MFA. Have you thought about that, or how we can push that to this end?
I actually went to MFA because they did their annual report. They're working on it. That's because I said your summary is you built 283 homes last year. That's statewide. We need about 10 times that number. Yeah. And so they reached out to Joseph following my meeting. I'm pushing them. But I am familiar that the money went to the Finance Authority and to MFA, and that money is not getting to the county and city, and we need that money. You guys need it, the city needs it.
That's
So
money that's
appreciate that.
a bird in the hand that we need to figure out how we can get that out the door.
John Anderson is their lobbyist, and I have been sitting with John and a friend, and I have been sitting with John on a regular basis to try and get through this. I think Izzy and that group are well-meaning, and they want to do the right thing, but we got to cut through the bureaucracy.
Yes, we do.
So,
Yeah.
Madam Chair?
Thank you. Just a second, Commissioner Barboa was next, and then you, Commissioner Quesada.
I was just gonna say the same thing, that we approach the legislature for 50,000. I think we need some, in my opinion, you know me from being able to work at the Roundhouse for my nonprofit that I work for, but that, we should be doing that now rather than waiting to the session. And even, well, I love your idea of approaching the special session for an opening, but I think our folks need to get in front of interim committees on housing and health.
Yeah, Madam Chair and Commissioner, one last thing. That's right. The key to the budget process in the legislature is go to them now. Don't wait till the session starts. So that's exactly right.
Thank you. Commissioner Quesada.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm gonna agree with Representative Eli when we're asking for things that we really need to get done in this state. And I've always made sure that I mention the state and everything that we're trying to do through the county. We're always talking city and county, but somehow we have kind of left the state out. And I'm really tired of hearing, oh, well, we're a poor state, and we're not. We're a wealthy state. We're one of the wealthiest states. We're number 2 in oil and gas production. I mean, how could that be? And then we be a poor state. What I tell people is we're the billionaire who don't tip, because we have this money. They hang on to it. They hold on to it. They're afraid to spend it. They're always saying up in Santa Fe, well, what happens on a rainy day? Well, I'm here today to tell you it's raining. There's a hurricane out here, and we have people living on the streets. Even to use the terminology affordable housing, I smirk at that, because even just for people who aren't dealing with behavioral health issues or the unhoused, just the regular folks, just the people who work hard every day and want to eventually own a home, that's even unrealistic at this time, And so I don't really use that word affordable housing, because I don't believe that that's the state of affairs in New Mexico. So I would love to be able to use my voice to say, hey, we dipped in to look at early childhood education. Now we need to dip in to make sure that we are providing housing for the people who desperately need it. And on top of that, we need to partner with developers who are building homes to be able to look at what's the realistic chance of us providing affordable housing for new families that are starting. Because if we don't do that, then we are not doing a complete picture. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And Madam Chair, if I could, one of the things that is in my report, but briefly, I did visit with developers. And we have not just an affordable housing crisis, we have a market rate housing crisis, which means that young families, as the commissioner just said, cannot afford homes. And so the idea is, what do we need to do with the developers to where they feel like they can make a profit in building homes? And so I do have some substantive ideas that are in that report, but that's not going to be handled at a special session. That's going to be real legislation. And I'm happy to talk to any of the commissioners about it. So,
And I would also invite you to talk with our housing collaborative, our city-county housing collaborative. That would be a great thing too. Thank you, Representative Eli. Appreciate
Commissioner,
it.
if I could say one last
Yes,
thing on a
please.
personal note, I'm going to miss this woman. You have an excellent public servant in your county manager. Julie Baca is fantastic, an old friend, and was really instrumental in keeping me in the game in this process. And but also as a legislator, I really relied on her. I just think she's done a wonderful job, and so I would be remiss if I didn't say that. And I love that she's sitting here next to me, and so thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We agree with you. Thank you very much.
I'll pay you later.
Yeah.
Madam County Manager.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and Commissioners. I'd like to go ahead and call up Warden Smith. Yolanda, could you please come up? And also Officer Truhecki, Lieutenant Speedy. So, Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and Commissioners, so it's my pleasure to introduce to you our county staff, the public, Mr. Stephen Kai Smith, also known as Smitty, as the new warden of the Metropolitan Detention Center. Mr. Smith brings a wealth of experience to this role. He has spent over 24 years in the field of corrections, demonstrating a deep understanding of correctional principles and a strong commitment to public safety, rehabilitation, treatment, and reintegration. Mr. Smith's appointment is the result of a rigorous and meticulous selection process. This process, which included a thorough review of all applications, rigorous recruiter screenings, and comprehensive three-part interviews, was designed to ensure that we have chosen the most capable candidate to lead our detention center. Mr. Smith started his career as a corrections officer with Volusia County Division of Corrections in Daytona Beach, Florida in 1999. He rose through the ranks, gaining 24 years of experience at this same facility. He has an MA in Criminal Justice Administration and a BA in Criminal Justice, and is pursuing his PhD in Leadership Studies. Please help me welcome Warden Smith to Bernalillo County. Warden Smith.
Thank you, County Commissioners. I got to get used to the hugging thing. That's not something I'm used to. For the time's sake, you might want to start the clock because some days I do go on and on. So I like it. We're on the clock. What to say? I'll do my icebreaker. Personally, father of 5, grandfather to 3. Brought my beautiful, better half, wiser half, as I found out today, with us. I'd like to thank Joe, Robert, Candace, and Daniel for supporting today and showing up. What to say about me? I'm a Sagittarius. I like long walks on the beach. I enjoy Italian food. Professionally, I'm a lifetime learner. I continue not only through the formal education, but I'm also a big fan of John C. Maxwell and the leadership through continued growth and integrity. I believe that I'm going to bring some different ideas, and then I just look forward to getting out there and working with the team. I've been in town for a little over a week. I've enjoyed it. It's definitely different. Yesterday was a humid day, I heard, for you guys. That was interesting, coming from Florida, but I'm going to leave it at that and let the action speak as we go forward with the team out at the MDC and to work with everybody here. So if you have some questions, feel free. If not, I appreciate your time.
Welcome, Warden Smith. Any questions for the Warden? Olivas and then Barboa?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Warden, welcome to Bernalillo County. We are so grateful to have you here, bringing all your experience. I love your attitude, being ready to step in and work, but also learn and just be part of a terrific organization that I think only has more potential for growth and even more improvement under your leadership. And I want to commend the county manager for making this a priority, because this is a really important facility. We often talk about this up here, the nuts and bolts that the county really provides, this social safety net, this foundation for our community. The Metropolitan Detention Center is core to that, along with our youth detention center, all these other services that we provide that underpin our society and law and order in our community. And so it's a mission critical facility, and I just want to commend her for making this a huge priority to get this position filled and bring in somebody that I think you have amazing potential, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Thanks for being here.
Same. Look forward to working with you, sir.
Commissioner Barboa.
Just the same, I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for stepping in and coming to our community, moving here. Happy partner, happy life. So please let us know what we can do to make sure your family feels good and at home in Bernalillo County. And again, yes, thank you, County Manager, for making this happen. As you probably already know, this is a big responsibility and such a huge responsibility that the county holds that really can make or break a lot of what happens in our county overall and our public safety. So I just really appreciate bringing your expertise, and I'm so looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Commissioner Casada, any comment?
Other than welcome to Bernalillo County, and we definitely are happy that you're here, and we look forward to a really great future with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Warden Smith. Really appreciate you. And I'm sorry.
Thank you,
County
Madam
Manager.
Chair. And you know what? And thank you so much, Warden, for recognizing Candace and Daniel. You all have been amazing, and thank you for your support. That means a lot. And again, welcome, Warden, and I'm just really, really proud to bring you in front of our county commission. So thank you, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. And these two here, I want to say, as far as the union, you have an amazing, strong union who is very supportive. They have, I think in the beginning, when I first started, we didn't have the relationship that we have, and it's because you started it. And they're here to support our warden, and we really, really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, County Manager.
I'm going to start this.
Thank
one. There you go.
You're learning.
I'm learning. I'm learning. Lifelong learning.
We now move on to item 6 on our agenda, the county manager's search. I would like to invite Juan Vigil up to the podium, and I will turn it over to Ken Martinez, our county legal, but I wanted to, on a personal note, thank you, Mr. Vigil, for your years of public service to our county, and also these last few months, which I'm sure sort of felt like years, but it got us through a very important selection process, and thank you for being here and willing to volunteer.
Most welcome.
Thank
you, Madam Chair and Mr. Vice Chair and members of the commission. Sometimes it's not just about what work we're given, but who we work with. And that's what's wonderful about Bernalillo County, who we work with. And this was my opportunity to work with Juan Vigil. I knew him before. I think last time we were together was when we did the North Valley Library. But that was a delight, and everybody knows of Mr. Vigil. But to work with him is really something. He's smart. He's kind. He just keeps working so very hard. And he's fair. And no matter what challenge was presented, he would just sit there and work on it to make it work. And he was unanimously approved to be the chair by the search committee, who also did a magnificent job. And he got us where we're at today, and it was really a delight to work with you, Mr. Vigil. So thank you very much, and thank the search committee on behalf of all of us.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Please.
Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, members of the commission, it has been our honor to serve Bernalillo County. The committee that was appointed is an experienced committee. Maggie Hart-Stevens and Commissioner Tim Cummings both had practical experience with the county. Yolanda Montoya Cordova, who served on the APS board and is a consultant, brought a lot of expertise with her knowledge of how to proceed with the process of reviewing and finally screening and selecting some very competent individuals who applied for the position. Vanessa Ceballos has an extensive background in behavioral health, and she lent a lot of her expertise not only to the process, but also in the types of questions that needed to be asked of the candidates to ensure that they had a good knowledge of behavioral health. Our first task, of course, after the adoption of the resolution AR 2443 was to review that very carefully as a committee, to understand what our role is and was with the critical deadlines, the procedures that we needed to undertake, how staff was to be involved, how we would proceed to ensure that our actions were under the scrutiny of you, the board, but also of the public, and that they were done in a legal manner. Of course, with the presentation on the Open Meetings Act, we had a little hiatus, but it did not deter our determination to ensure that we did the job faithfully, honestly, and with a conscience that the person who the individuals who we would recommend had the best interest of Bernalillo County and its citizens. We went through a very rigorous process of reviewing all of the applicants, and staff did a marvelous job not only of ensuring that we understood the qualifications that are in the job description, but I also reviewed the county charter to see the role and the relationship between the county manager and the county commission. After the process began, we had the applicants come presented to us by the personnel director. She did a very good job of screening those and giving us not only a summary of their qualifications, but also of their experience and education. IT did a wonderful job also of providing us with the type of process to ensure we were following the administrative resolution in terms of public comments and staff comments. We did have a little glitch with the issue of video, but we overcame that and we proceeded and got good responses from the staff and the public. After reviewing all those, the 12 applicants who came forward, we went forward and narrowed it down to 8. Of the 8, we reviewed those very, very carefully, had virtual interviews with the 8 candidates and narrowed those down to 5. All of those names are public, so I'm not going to go through and name those here at this time. My comments are that, your committee was diligent and responsive. The staff was more supportive than I expected and more than we deserved. They kept us in a very tight schedule, made sure that the public notices were legal, and that the public understood that when we were in public session that they had an opportunity to comment. When we were in closed session, that only those items that were necessary and published under the Closed Meeting Act were followed. Again, thanks to you, the commission, for giving us this opportunity, to the entire committee, to serve you and Bernalillo County's residents. And again, the staff has a commitment to public service, which is something that I think we all appreciate, which I appreciate very much. I am a public servant and will continue to pursue public support where I can. With that, Madam Chair, Commissioners, I stand for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Bill? Commissioner Olivas.
I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, really, for your work and the work of everybody that served on this committee, as well as to Bernadette and Ken. Our county staff, as you said, has just gone above and beyond to make this process as successful as it has been, and it's just been terrific to see under some somewhat difficult circumstances at times, but everybody has persevered, and I think it all goes to show that regardless of our whatever differences we have in process matters, those kinds of things, I think everybody in this room, everybody involved on the committee, on the staff, we're all here for one reason, as you said, and that's to serve the public, to serve the community we love, and dedicated to this organization that we're all part of, which is Bernalillo County. And so, I think that's what we all want, and ultimately, that's what you did. And so I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and all the staff and all the committee members for your support.
Madam Chair, Commissioner, you're welcome and appreciate your comments.
Mr. Vigil, I just want to also, again, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your professionalism. Thank you for your service to this community that I know you love. As you started this whole dialogue, you love Bernalillo County, as do we. And I think that hard work will pay off. So thank you. And thank you. Please extend the thanks to your committee as well. It was a very stellar group of folks. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And thank you, Julie. Thank you for all your support and for your service to the county. Thank you very much.
And now we move on to item 6B. And this is a motion to approve the top 3 candidates for the Bernalillo County Manager position. I wanted to start with just following up on what Mr. Vigil said, that the committee gave us their top 5 recommended candidates on June 5th. The full commission interviewed all of those candidates, and then today in closed meeting, as I stated, we considered those and debated those. And so with that, I will move approval of the top 3 candidates for the Bernalillo County Manager position. Those names are Cindy Chavez, Marcos Gonzalez, and Joseph Lassard. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Olivas?
I want to say, the search committee did not give us an easy job. We had a lot of good people in that list of 5. It was, really, those interviews were really telling. There was a lot of good conversation from all the commissioners, good questions. And ultimately, we were able to narrow that down to 3. And what I think is most exciting to me is that we had consensus on these 3. This is something that, in this process to date has not been the norm. But I'm proud to say that we had some consensus here that this is the group of candidates that we need to dive in deeper, and that we need to really engage the public, engage the staff, engage the entire community to really take a deep dive on these candidates and see who will be the best leader for Bernalillo County going forward. So I'm just really excited about this, excited that we're moving forward, and under what I think are really good circumstances. I think every one of the people on the list of 5 and absolutely the list of 3 brings terrific qualities and qualifications, and there are strengths to each person and what they could bring to our county. So I'm really excited about this next phase.
Thank you. Commissioner? Commissioner Barbeau.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, just to appreciate the process. Thank you, Madam Chair, for your leadership, and definitely to the team. I want to recognize that. I know that is hard work, and we got the hard job, but definitely easier to be able to look and be able to focus in on the candidates in front of us because of all the hard work you did to get them in front of us. So thank you very much. Thank you for everybody's leadership in making this happen.
Any further comment?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Casada.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to congratulate the three final candidates. I think I agree that they all bring a unique type of abilities that we're going to need in Bernalillo County, and I think they all also bring a unique, different type of leadership. And so I just want to wish them all the best of luck as we move to probably the final stage of who the county manager for Bernalillo County is going to be. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Without further ado, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Oh, I'm sorry, we have to do a roll call vote. Pardon me, Madam Clerk.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Buck.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that passes. And just for the community, we want to make sure that people know this is the next phase. We have our top three candidates. We will be reaching out to those candidates, and hopefully we will be bringing them here. We will definitely be having a public forum for them to make their case for why they are the best fit for us. And we hope that that's, two are from out of state, so we hope that they will be in person. If not, it will be a hybrid meeting, certainly. And the public is welcome to come and listen and make a comment. And that will be scheduled right now for the 18th, a week from today. So thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Behill. And I move on to item 7. Ooh, just 7. Approval of the minutes. I move approval of the May 14th, 2024 administrative meeting minutes. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
And Madam Chair Buck.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item B, I move minutes of May 28th, 2024 be approved. These are the administrative minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Buck.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We move on to the approval of the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, can you please provide resolution numbers for 8A, D, J, and K, and an ordinance number for item 8I?
Yes, Madam Chair. For item 8A, number 1 is FR 2024-68. Item 8A2 is FR 2024-69. Item 8D is FR 2024-70. Item 8J is AR 2024-71. Item 8K is AR 2024-72. And item 8I is ordinance 2024-14.
Thank you. The consent agenda has been published and made available to the public. Therefore, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call vote, please.
Yes. Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, and that passes. We move on to item 9, adoption of resolutions. Madam Clerk, can you please provide resolution numbers for the following items? Capital Improvement Program.
Yes, Madam Chair. Item 9A is FR 2024-73.
And item 9B.
9B is AR 2024-74.
Thank you. Capital Improvement Program. 2024 Legislative Appropriations to Bernalillo County. Kathy Court to present.
Good evening, County Chair, Madam Chair Baca, Vice Chair Olivas, and Commissioners. The item before you is a motion to approve financial resolution in the amount of $23,463,000 to budget legislative capital outlay appropriations to Bernalillo County, approved during the 2024 State of New Mexico legislative session. The motion is also to authorize the county manager to execute all State of New Mexico agency grant agreements or amendments for the 2024 legislative capital outlay appropriations and reauthorizations that exceed her signature authority as listed in your attachment A. Just to break this out, we had $20,228,000 in capital outlay grants to Bernalillo County projects. We also received $3,235,000 for senior meal sites and infrastructure improvements. And then, of course, we also are bringing before you our reauthorizations for grants that were going to expire on June 30th of 2024. So this motion isn't asking you to budget those grants because they've already been budgeted in the past. However, your approval of this item will allow us to extend the date to spend the money on these reauthorized grants for Bernalillo County. And I stand for any questions.
Thank you. I move approval.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions for Ms. Court?
I do have one, Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Olivas.
Thank you,
Vice
Madam Chair. Thank you, Ms. Court. I think this is an easy, well, maybe it's an easy question. When do you expect this money to actually flow from the state this year?
So what we have already done is answered all the questionnaires from DFA for all of our capital outlay grants to Bernalillo County. So our staff was doing that in April and May, follow-up questions, that kind of thing. So my hope is that we should see a memo and all the grants released to us either this month or in July. So that is my hope because all the questionnaires have been answered and that's the first stage in getting all these grants released to us from DFA.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Good news. Any other comments?
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Quesada.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Kathy Court for her hard work and her dedication to making sure that that the county is doing their job, and we couldn't do that without you. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody give you some kudos of the hard work that you do, and I know you work very hard. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Barboa.
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada.
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Court. Item 9B, Local Government Coordinating Commission. Commissioner Barboa and Commissioner Olivas, do you want to present this or?
Yeah, I was hoping to, yes, so thank you very much. Is there anything I'm waiting for, Shirley? No?
No, it's just you, I think.
Okay, great. So very exciting. I've been on commission for all 4 years. I've served on what was called the ABCGC plus APS council. And it's it's really a cross-government council. At some point, I think through Commissioner Quesada's efforts, APS was added to the council. I believe that's correct. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. But the point is that's a cross-government, and the original intent was really to look at and understand and at some points vet behavioral health initiatives that were coming through, and so that all our governments could see, and it could be a place where we could see the bigger landscape. It changed over time, to my understanding, in the 3 years I've been on it, now 4 years, didn't completely serve as that, and we're thankful that this year we have the opportunity to review and really give input around the opioid settlement funding. And so this has been tried in the past, and I feel like it's finally happening. So I'm not trying to take any or all of the credit for it, but I'm glad that this year I was able to propose, and we are moving forward with having now the city and APS. Is that true, Kel? Yeah. Yes.
The city has approved
The
it.
city has
council has
approved
it.
and
APS
has APS.
School board has not yet. I
Has
don't
not
believe
yet.
that. They still have to do that, right? We'll have to confirm.
We'll have to confirm that. But if we approve it tonight and APS approves it, then it just means that APS will have a vote and will be called the Local Government Coordinating Commission. And APS will actually have a vote, which I think is ever more important now that we're looking at things like opioid settlement. We need APS's expertise on how we address this through a school, student perspective, prevention and intervention. So excited to be sponsoring this, and I stand for any questions.
Commissioner Olivas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just think this is, basic good government because I realize that APS is not necessarily the only representative of young people and youth in our community. But not having young people, the youth of our community represented on this coordinating commission, as it has in the past, but yet asking them to be at the table but not allowing them to vote is really kind of, I think a little bit disingenuous. I don't think anybody did that nefariously at the time. It just wasn't in the cards when this was all established. But I just think it's so important that we give at least the representatives of young people, which I think APS has a strong voice in that, give them a seat at the table and give them a vote in the future direction of some of these matters. This board, I've sat on it now for 2 years. I've been on it both years that I've been on commission. Doesn't always decide the most important things, but I think it has potential to really be a place where we can have important discussions and dialogue. And it's important that everybody has a seat at the table and has a reason to be at the table, right? When you don't have a vote on these matters, there's not really a pressing reason to be there. And kudos to our school board members who have continued to show up over the last 2 years despite not having that true seat at the table. And so I think this rectifies that and helps bring a little bit more balance and tries to correct that imbalance in our community, and recognizing that young people are part of our community too, our schools are part of our community too, and this is one very small thing that we can do to fix that.
Thank you. I'll be supporting this. I think it's long overdue. I think a local government coordinating commission is an excellent, much smaller and easier to remember acronym than the old one. So I'm for that. This is a good thing to have APS as a voting member of this body, and I expect great things from it. So,
I move approval.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Quesada.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this was one of the first initiatives that I did because I am a former school board member. And yes, thank you for simplifying that. Commissioner Barboa, APS, ABC, GC plus APS was really kind of a mouthful, but not only that, I don't think that anyone kind of knew what the purpose was. I think this gives it more of a purpose. Thank you for your comments, and also your comments, Commissioner Olivas. But I just really want to add that, APS is involved in way more than just, children's voices. They're a very large government entity in the city of Albuquerque. They deal with everything that we deal with, from infrastructure to capital, infrastructure improvements around schools. And for many years as a school board member, it was really hard to navigate through either the county or the city, and they didn't really feel they had a place where they had a voice. Unfortunately, I was there when the city council voted down them having a voice based on whatever their opinions were. I didn't think they were valid, but that's not a place for me to decide whether they were or not. I didn't find them that way. So I'm very excited that the city has already decided to change their mind on that. And if APS has not done it, I hope they do, because like you said, they have been involved despite the fact that they've never really been a voting member of that board. And so I commend both of your all's work for making sure that this idea of the three biggest government entities in Bernalillo County come together and make sure that we're on the same page on everything that we have to deal with as a group. So kudos to you. Thank you so much. And I appreciate the hard work.
Thank you, sir. And here is a statement. The APS did approve this on May 29th, so we're good. And I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Barboa
I'll
and
second.
seconded by Commissioner Olivas. And we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Thank you. Commissioner Barboa,
Yes, enthusiastically.
Commissioner Quesada,
Oh, yes.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes,
Thank you.
and that passes. Thank you. We move on to approvals. Item 10, Shirley Reagan to present City of Albuquerque Brillante Early Learning Center, capital contribution. Shirley.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is Shirley Reagan, Deputy County Manager for Finance. And I'm here tonight to present an agenda item where the county will provide a capital contribution in the total amount of $525,000 for the express purpose of funding a portion of the cost of design and construction for the Brillante Early Learning Center from the county's 2022 voter authorized general obligation facility improvement bonds. The initiative supports the county's strategic goals of community health, which provides access to cultural amenities. The Brillante, Early Learning Center is New Mexico's only museum-based STEM education center, which will be housed in a new facility and serve over 140 infants, toddlers, and young children and their families with a full-time care, preschool, community learning, and resources serving the city, the county, and their respective residents. The Early Learning Center is located within the county across the street from Explorer on 18th Street and will be accessible to and benefit all city and county residents. This resides in Commissioner Baca's district and is also being sponsored by her. Our motions are to authorize, let me back before I say that, the Finance Division Administration staff, the Chief of Governmental Affairs, County Bond Counsel, County Legal have worked together with the City of Albuquerque staff and their legal departments to finalize the IGA that is being presented here tonight. So the first motion is to authorize the county manager to approve the agreement between Bernalillo County and the City of Albuquerque to provide capital contributions for design and construction of the City of Albuquerque Brillante Early Learning Center, and two, to authorize the county manager to execute any subsequent amendments related to and resulting from this request. Stand for
Thank you,
questions.
and I move approval.
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Barboa, and I just thank you, Shirley, for that presentation. And very quickly, this is a beautiful partnership with the City of Albuquerque, more importantly, to do some really good work with our Explora facility, which we all know is a jewel in our crown of education, and it happens to be in my district in the museum area, but we all, I think, have gotten to a chance to take a look at that, and this is old money that's being appropriated now, and we hope to continue the support. So I urge your support. Any comments? Commissioner Barboa.
Just to try and be quick, that I agree that this, I felt emotional when I went and saw the new learning center. Well, they're doing some early education while they're waiting for the center to be built. And I remember they're just taking the opportunity and the thoughtfulness to really innovate education, early learning. And I really, everybody knows behavioral health is my thing. And I think these are like such important prevention and ways that our whole state can learn from about being innovative and addressing early childhood education with a whole different lens. One example I'll share is that they were talking about that they had the youth out and they came across some graffiti and that had been on like a wall, and they said one of the kids asked about the graffiti, and they said, well, let's go back and talk about what it means to write on different surfaces. And they went back to the classroom, and they had styrofoam, and they had walls, and they had paper, and they had sand, and they had all these different, so they took an opportunity not to build fear or stigma into what was happening, but to just say this is a learning moment to test out what it's like to write on different surfaces so people get that exploration. So I just think of those kind of thoughtful, innovative ways that they're approaching education. And I'm so grateful for this. So totally has my support.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. We'll do a roll, excuse me, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Yes.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. Item 10B, Human Resources Collective Bargaining Agreement between the county and AFSCME Council 18, Local 1461 Blue Collar. Bernadette Perez.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. My name is Bernadette Perez. I'm the Human Resources Director. And tonight I am seeking Commission approval of the negotiated changes to the AFSCME Council 18 Local 1461 Collective Bargaining Agreement. Negotiations between Bernalillo County and AFSCME Council 18 Local 1461 commenced on April 16th of 2024, and we reached tentative agreement on April 24th, 2024. On or about May 1st, 2024, the union members ratified the contract, voting unanimously in favor of the new contract. This is a one-year contract expiring June 30 of 2025. I'd like to highlight the changes to Article 20. Wages are being increased by 10% for all bargaining unit employees. The wage increases put Bernalillo County in a position to be competitive with other entities and is critical to ensure retention of employees. I would also like to recognize the management negotiating team. So it's Chief Negotiator Dina Holcomb, DCM Shirley Reagan, DCM and Fire Chief Greg Perez, and Employee and Labor Relations Manager Dawn Hill, along with myself. I would also like to thank the County Manager for all her support, of course, and AFSCME Council 18 Local 1461 Union Negotiating Team members as well for their collaboration in reaching this agreement. I do see the union president is in attendance in the event that he has anything to add. Otherwise, I stand for any questions.
Any questions of Director Pettis? He's shy back there. He's waving, he's good.
He is not shy. Don't let that fool you.
Any questions? Yes, County Manager.
No questions, Madam Chair, just a comment. I just want to let you all know, our Blue Collar Union, how very proud I've been to, it's been great working with you. The relationship is professional. You all are second to none, really, honestly. All our unions are just above board, very communicative. And really communication is key, and I want to thank our administrative team, but Robert, you've done a phenomenal job. How long have you been president now? Since 2018? So that speaks volumes about your leadership. You do an excellent job representing your membership. So thank you, Robert, for all your service and your great work. Thank you very much. And again, thank you to our administrative team and to our county commissioners, because without your support, we wouldn't be able to approve their contracts. So thank you very much.
Thank you, County Manager. I move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded by Commissioner Olivas. Any further discussion? We'll do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Barboa,
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada,
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas.
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good work. Yeah. So we have the new added approval of 10C, Technical Services. DCM Olivas, sorry. Archuleta.
Good evening. Elias Archuleta, Deputy County Manager for Public Works. And tonight to present this, we have Collie Bronson, our Stormwater Compliance Lead in Natural Resources, because Dan McGregor is on vacation this week.
Thank you, welcome.
Good evening, Madam Chair Baca, Vice Chair Olivas, Commissioners. This project, Bernalillo County applied for a grant. Natural Resource Services, we applied for a grant from the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, which we received in the amount of $245,000 to conduct this Carnuel nutrient and emerging contaminant study. We are working with the United States Geologic Service to conduct this study, and they're providing matching funding in the amount of $245,000. So the full value of the project is $490,000. The purpose of this Carnuel emerging contaminant and nutrient study is to determine the extent of groundwater and surface water impairment that may be related to septic systems in the Carnuel area of Bernalillo County. We know we have an impairment for nutrients within the Upper Terrace Creek watershed. We are looking to determine the sources of it, of those nutrient impairments, and looking at the emerging contaminants. One allows us to understand what's happening with some of those emerging contaminants like PFAS, which you probably have heard a lot about, in microplastics, not microplastics in this one, but pharmaceuticals and some of the other things, and that helps us trace where that nutrient impairment may be coming from due to the proximity of the septic systems. And so what we are asking for tonight is a motion to authorize the county manager to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the United States Geological Survey to perform this study of emerging contaminants and nutrients in the Carnuel area, and to authorize the county manager to execute and approve any future amendments or agreements for the project. And I stand for any questions.
Any questions? Commissioner Olivas? Vice Chair Olivas, sorry.
Thank you. Thank you so much for just giving us the down low on what this looks like. And this is going to have a really big impact in my district specifically. I think everybody knows that Carnuel is in my district, and it's a really unique, it's an amazing community. It's one of the last two remaining active land grants in Bernalillo County. And these are some, it's a very mixed community. It is frankly ancient. This is an indigenous community mixed with a Hispanic community that predates the founding and settlement of Albuquerque. And so, it's just a really special community. And the fact that these are the folks in our county that are dealing with such degraded water quality, not having access to high quality water and sewer service. We're working on that through this commission, through Public Works, through the Water Utility Authority. We're working on that, and I just wanted to highlight that this is all being done as a data-driven effort through things like this and past works to characterize the nutrient loading and the contaminant plumes and all those kinds of things. So I just really appreciate you all stepping up and taking leadership on this and making sure that we dive in and get the best data so that we can continue to guide those other investments in infrastructure, water lines, sewer lines, that kind of thing. So I would make a motion for approval.
Great, I'll second. I want to thank you also for coming forward and enlightening us. I appreciate the explanation. Any other debate? If not, we'll do a roll call vote. It's been moved and seconded.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Barboa?
Yes.
Commissioner Quesada?
Aye.
Vice Chair Olivas?
Yes.
Madam Chair Baca?
Yes, and that passes. Thank you. Thanks. Item 11, announcement of the next commission meeting will be Tuesday, June 25th, 2024 at 5 p.m. here in these commission chambers. And if there's no other business, this meeting is adjourned.